everyone, welcome back to Real Talk with Jew. On today's episode, we'll be diving deep into a necessary conversation, childhood trauma and how it shapes us, how it creates both toxic individuals and enablers. And the most important part is how we can break the cycle for the next generation. Many people don't realize that childhood trauma doesn't just create toxic people or abusers. It also creates the enablers. It creates the people pleasers and the ones who always says yes, even when it hurts them. The ones who can't walk away from toxic relationships because they are trained to endure to keep the peace. We are in a time where we have the knowledge that our parents didn't have or weren't open to. The chance to see the signs early enough and stop the next generation from repeating the same patterns. But first, before I go into that, I need to talk about mental health. What does mental health mean? Mental health is about not being crazy. It's about being able to think, feel, and behave. It's about the way we do these things, how we process emotions, how we handle stress, how we relate to others. Childhood trauma is one of the biggest factors that shapes our mental health. So a good mental health means being able to manage life challenges, maintain relationship, and function productively in our daily activities. Mental health is not just um, a word or phrase. It is as important as physical health. Just like you take care of your body by eating well and exercising, you need to take care of your mind by managing stress, setting boundaries, and seeking support when needed. What does protecting your mental health mean? When someone says protect my mental health, this means prioritizing their emotions and their physical well-being for their physical well-being and their psychological well-being. This can involve setting boundaries, that's avoiding toxic environments or relationship that drains your energy. All right. Number two is managing stress, taking breaks, engaging in relaxation and in activities that will help you relax, meditating or seeking therapy when you feel burnt out. For instance, if a person is working long hours, it might set time aside some time or some hours for self-care to avoid emotional exhaustion. Number three is avoid negativity. Stay clear from negativity. Social media, things that are harmful, conversations that are harmful, or anything that would trigger you to be anxious or doubt yourself. An example would be unfollow accounts that makes you feel insecure about your body or life. Then prioritizing self-care, engage in things that brings you joy, peace, such as reading, exercising, listening to music, journaling, anything, spa treatments and anything that brings you joy, peace. All right. Then five is seek help when needed. Recognizing when you need support, whether from friends, family, or a mental health professional. Please prioritize your mental health. It is one of the important factors that helps us raise the next generation. Why is this important? When people protect their mental health or safeguard their mental health, it helps them safeguard their overall well being. Poor mental health can lead to anxiety, depression, emotional breakdown, and even psychological breakdown. A strong mental state allows you to make better decisions, build healthy relationships, and navigate life's ups and downs with resilience. So protecting your mental health means knowing when to step away from those people that makes you feel negative or that puts you down. Prioritizing yourself over situations that could harm your peace of mind. Why am I talking about mental health? The truth is, we are going through a challenging time, especially with the economy and especially with the state of things in our physical or personal lives. A lot of people are going through so much. And with this, especially for parents, they transfer this aggression and their pain into their kids unknowingly and traumatizing them. So now going back to the topic for today, how childhood trauma shapes who we become. If you remember the meaning of trauma, which is a deep emotional wound caused by distress or pain experienced, it's not just about what happened to someone, but also how the mind and body react to the incident or the traumatic experience, which I talked about in my previous video. If you have not seen that, I suggest that you pause this video, go back and watch that so you have a full insight on what I'm talking about. All right, so if you haven't seen that, just pause and go back, then you'll come back to this. So, trauma actually contributes into shaping or building a child, who the child becomes. A child who experiences trauma can take two different paths. They can be an abuser, that's a toxic person, or an enabler, those people pleasers. Let's break this down. Number one, how trauma creates toxic people. That's the abusers, the manipulators, the controllers, the beaters, and etc. How does trauma create these people? Some people who experience trauma develop toxic survival mechanisms to protect themselves. These behaviors are usually learned, not natural, but they become habits over time and they start harming others with these their habits. Examples of this are um, if a child experiences physical abuse, a physical abuse child may grow up to be physically abusing their partner or someone else. For example, a boy who was constantly beaten by their father growing up will think that violence is how to express control or discipline. He later hits his wife or his children just as his father has hit him or hit the mother in front of him. A child who was constantly criticized may grow up hyper controlling or manipulative. Example of this is a girl who was always told that she wasn't good enough, develops extreme need to control everything around her, including her relationship. She manipulates her partner because she's afraid, or she might be afraid to lose power over him. Or a child who was neglected when growing up emotionally would be emotionally distant or cold. An example of this is a boy whose partner never shows or parents never shows him affection learns to suppress their own emotions. As adults, they will avoid deep conversation, emotional conversation, or emotionally connecting with their partner or anybody in their life. So, how does this create enablers? How does trauma create enablers or people pleaser or overgivers or doormats, as the case may be? On the other hand, these same experiences that these ones, let's say, um, some people that have gone through same experiences would also, as enablers, will also put up a mechanism for survival. So, for these examples are, imagine a child who who was forced to keep peace in the house. Okay, a child who grew up in a chaotic house will become people pleasing. You know, because all she knows is keeping peace. Do you understand? So let's say, for instance, a girl who grows up constantly in a house where she needs to keep everyone calm or fix things, will always try to make everyone happy when she's an adult. Even when she's not married to an abusive partner, she will tolerate this and try to save him because she feels she needs to fix everything. Or, for instance, a child who was never allowed to say no when growing up is unable to set boundaries. Let's say a boy whose parents force him to obey everything without questioning it. You know, kids of these days, they will tell you, Mommy, why? At that time, maybe a child who wasn't allowed to say why or what no would fear saying no just because they don't want to be rejected. All right. Or a child who was starved affection, who wasn't taken care of emotionally, will now depend on others um, to please others. Let's say, for instance, a girl who wasn't given enough love or praises while growing up will be desperate for validation. So she will stay in toxic relationship because she believes that the love she's getting is the best love, even though the love is painful. That's the best for her because she hasn't experienced what love is. All right. So when a child experiences deep emotional wound, it doesn't just go away. It follows them into adulthood, influencing how they behave in relationship, at work, or with every individual, every person in their life, in business and otherwise. For example, let's take two case studies and analyze this two case study. All right. Let's say we have two kids, David and Sarah. They're both growing up in homes where parents would give them responsibilities. All right. However, their parents will communicate these responsibilities in a different way. All right. Let's say for David, let's take David as the first case study. David is a child who was taught with love and understanding. All right, so David's parents believe in explaining things to him. When they give him tasks or they give him anything to do, they will make sure that he understands the importance of what they ask him to do. For example, when his father asks him to clean his room, he will say, David, cleaning your room can help you stay organized, and it also teaches you responsibility. So when you grow up, you become more responsibility in affairs with other people because life um, needs responsible kids or responsible people. All right, so cleaning your room, even if it's bit by bit, will not will help you be very organized and do it bit by bit. It will help you make sure that it's not overwhelming and all that, you know. So because David understands the purpose behind the task he was given, or the purpose behind cleaning his room, he will able to have thinking skills, and he will be able to um, think for himself and understand conversation or keep up with conversation. He will take initiative in his career when he grows up or his relationship, and he will think things through before he makes decisions because his parents gave him that opportunity to think about it. And he will feel confident expressing his opinion because he was explained to and he understands. If he wasn't understanding, it's possible that he would have asked more questions. So that will give him the opportunity to express himself more. But when Sarah, let's say Sarah now is given the same task and wasn't explained to, and they just say, Sarah, clean your room, and they say, why? And they say, you must clean your room. That's all I said you should do. Don't ask questions. When Sarah grows up, because she never understood the purpose behind cleaning her room, and she just learned to obey without thinking, she will grow up feeling like her opinions doesn't matter, you know, that asking questions like why is wrong, and that her role is just to follow instruction. Those kind of children will not have initiative on their own. In the society where we need people that think on the spot and outside the box, Sarah won't be able to cope because she will struggle with decision making, critical thinking, because she was never taught to think about what she was doing or what she was asked to do. And staying in a toxic relationship or job, she will not be able to speak for herself if she finds herself in any of this situation. All right, because she can't question authority. She was told to just obey and not complain. All right. So she will feel lost, she will feel confused, and she'll feel like she's imprisoned. She won't have the freedom to express what she's thinking and other things. All right. So, how does this affect David's mind? Let's analyze it. David's mind was trained with explanation and making choices. So, this will affect his mind by training his mind to analyze situations, ask questions, and make thoughtful choices. While Sarah's parents will train her mind to just obey and suppress her voice and avoid asking questions. The difference shows how childhood experience can shape who we become and what we think, the way we react to negative and positivity as adults. All right. So recognizing this childhood trauma in children is very important, or recognizing these patterns are very important. Um, and talking about recognizing childhood trauma, there is no way a child experiencing childhood trauma will experience it without showing signs that they are going through trauma. But the problem is many parents will mistake the signs of trauma as bad behavior instead of a cry for help. So let's look at the signs that your child may be struggling with trauma or mental health issues with what they've experienced or what have been happening around them. Number one is acting out, sudden aggression or stealing or defensiveness. You know, when your child starts experiencing, when you start a child that is good starts piffering or stealing. Let's say, for instance, a 7-year-old who has always been well behaved suddenly starts stealing snacks from school. Instead of just punishing him as a parent, you should ask questions, you know, ask if something is happening at home that is influencing that character, or at school. You might find some things that you'll be shocked that is happening. Number two is being too quiet. When you see that your child that was a talkative or that knows how to express themselves suddenly becomes withdrawn, it's a sign that something is happening. Let's say, for instance, a 10-year-old girl who was bubbling and talkative suddenly goes silent, avoiding eye contact or anything, or speaking up. She might be experiencing bullying, neglect, or emotional wounds that you have not noticed. So please check. Number three is extreme perfectionism or over accommodative behavior. If you see your child that is being, she's extremely trying to be perfect, like extreme perfection, everything has to be in place. This, there might be something wrong, or maybe the person is going through stuff. Let's say a 12-year-old who is always trying to be perfect in everything, her tests, her clothes, her everything, the way she dressed and all that. Instead of you thinking that, oh, my child is a perfectionist, no child is a perfectionist. Allow kids be kids. Check if something is wrong. All right. Or the child is avoiding conversation. Check if something is wrong. How do we as parents contribute to childhood trauma without knowing? Many parents today are repeating mistakes that our parents made with us. Not knowing because we didn't even know, our parents didn't even know that they're repeating the mistakes their own parents made with them. All right. And this is causing a long-term impact on the children that we are breeding. Ignoring a child's emotional cry is not a good thing. You know, when a child is crying for help, or when you see that a child is acting up, instead of you to start shaming the child or calling the child names or saying that the child is seeking attention, please check for the child, or comparing the child to other kids and saying, see your mates. Please don't do that. There are certain things we say to our children that causes them to feel pain without us even knowing that that thing is deeper. Breaking the circle is the next thing I want to talk about. We must change. The change must happen. Why do I need this to happen? It's because we are breeding the next generation. We are bringing up the next generation, and we are bringing them up with the same circle our parents used to bring us up. True Prosperity Pulse is about breaking the circle of trauma, the circle of toxic behavior and unhealthy relationship, unhealthy patterns. What do I mean by breaking the circle? Breaking the circle means refusing to pass down the same emotional wounds that hurts us, the same emotional wound that our parents hurts our parents that they pass down to us. It means the learning healthy ways to discipline without shaming or abusing our children. Creating a home where our children feels emotionally safe, teaching our children that they are valued, loved, and enough. recognizing when there's a mental health issue and when it's important to sort it. Recognize when your child is crying for help. Recognizing that our pain should not be passed into our children, into the next generation. The next generation is watching. That's one thing we don't know. Parents, it is not about paying school fees. It is not about providing food. Children are more aware than you think they are. They see, they feel, and they internalize all these things that they see and they feel. They try to see how it relates to them. Everything they see, either good or bad. A child who feels seen today will become a good child or will become a toxic person or toxic adult tomorrow, as the case may be. Whatever way you're doing it, don't overdo it, don't do it less. You know, tolerate tolerating abuse and thinking that your child will learn differently is trying to build a circle. Everything you tolerate today, your child will tolerate. So please, let's pay attention. Let's start paying attention to breaking the circle. Let's start paying attention to not passing our hurts or toxicity to our children. Let's build the next generation with healthy emotions, strong training, background training. Teach your child what is right. And when I mean teach your child what is right, I mean show your child what is right. If you're going through toxic relationship and you think your child will learn differently, I'm I don't know what to say. I'm short of words. Your child learns from what they see. Don't pass down your trauma to your child, and make sure that you train your child in a more secured environment, a well-behaved environment. The environment that you train your child will add to what they become in future. So I want us to be aware of this and know that we are building the next generations, and the next generations are learning from what they are seeing us do today. So paying attention to everything we've talked about on the video is very important. And parents, please, this generation of kids are sensitive. They are very sensitive and smart. Watch what you say. Watch how you act. Watch the things that you do, because they see what you do and they know and understand better than you think they know. Have conversation with your kids. If you're not, if you don't know how to go about it, learn. Okay, go for help. Ask for help to know how to converse with your child. Create a friendly zone with your child. Don't be too friendly. Don't be less friendly. There's a balance. Find that balance and be the child, the parents that your child needs to be a better person in future. Don't create toxic people and don't create doormats. Thank you for watching this video. If this video has resonated with you, or if you you have anything to add to what I've said in this video, or you have questions, please drop your questions below in the comment section and drop your comments. And if you have anything to add to what I've said in this video, drop your comment in the comment section and I will read them out. Thank you for watching this video and staying with me today. See you in my next video. Bye.